so bright.
Luckily, he doesn't want any light, only the one from the binnacle there.
He? Ah, you mean your father?
Who else? Excuse me for asking, but why didn't he silence the doctor?
It's quite all right. The doctors at the hospital don't have enough time to interview all prospective patients, so they send nurses on their behalf. I suppose this is meant to be like a ship's cabin.
Yes, as I warned you.
Warned me? Why warn? As if it's very natural, interesting, this whim of his.
Interesting as may be. Not for the faint of heart, especially a woman.
Regardless of my gender, Mr. Bartlett, I'm a professional in this field, and if you want me to be sympathetic to your case, I'll need your complete frankness. And he lives up here, you said. Never comes down?
Never for the past 3 years. My sister brings the food to him. There's a lantern on the barrel there. Bring it over and we'll make a light. I'll ask your pardon for bringing you to this room, but no one will hear us here. And I want you to see the mad way that he lives. Understand that I want you to get the facts. Just the facts. For that, the light is necessary. Without it, they become dreams up here. Dreams, Miss Below.
It is a trifle spooky.
He won't take any note of this light. His eyes are too busy out there.
Where is he?
Up on the poop. Please sit down, miss. He'll not come yet a while.
Then he has his roof rigged up like a ship, too.
I told you he had. Like a deck, yes. If the wind wasn't so high, you'd hear him now, back and forth all the livelong night. Didn't I tell you he's mad?
That was nothing new. I've heard that about him. You say he only walks at night, up there?
Only at night, yes. The things he wants to see can't be made out in daylight dreams and such.
But what is he trying to see? Does anyone know?
Everyone knows what he tries to see. The ship, of course.
What ship?
His ship. The Mary Ellen named for my dead mother.
But I don't understand. Is the ship long overdue, or what?
Lost in a hurricane off the Celebes with all crew on board 3 years ago.
Ah, but your father still clings to a doubt.
There is no doubt for anyone else to cling to. The ship was sighted bottom of a complete wreck. It was 2 weeks after the storm.
And hasn't your father ever heard?
He was the first to hear, naturally. He knows right enough if that's what you're getting at. He knows, but he won't believe. He can't keep on living.
Come, Mr. Bartlett, let's get down to brass tacks. You didn't bring me up here to make things more obscure, did you? Let's have the facts you spoke of. I'll need them to give sympathetic treatment to his case once we get him to the asylum.
And you'll come to take him away tonight, for sure.
20 minutes after I leave here, I'll be back in the car. That's positive.
And you know your way through the house.
Certainly. Now for the facts in this case, if you don't mind, Mr. Bartlett.
Well, there are cases with facts. The brass tacks. My father was a whaling captain. The last trip he made was 7 years ago. He was expected to be gone too. It was 4 before we saw him again. His ship was wrecked in the Indian Ocean. He and 6 others managed to reach a small island on the fringe of the archipelago. An island as bare as hell, miss. After 7 days in an open boat. The rest of the whaling crew were lost at sea, gone to the sharks. As for the other 6 who were with my father, only 3 were alive when a fleet of Malay canoes picked them up. Mad from starvation, the 4 of them. Those 4 men finally reached Frisco. They were my father, Silas Horn, the mate, Kate the boatswain, and Jimmy Kanaka, the harpooner. Those 4 men. It was in the papers at the time, my father's story.
But what of the other 3 who were on the island?
Died from exposure, perhaps. Mad and jumped into the sea, perhaps. That was the told story. Another was whispered. Killed and eaten, perhaps. What does it all matter, anyway?
I should think it would matter. A lot.
We're dealing with the facts here, Nurse Willow. And here are some more for you. My father brought those 3 men down into this very room. Horn, Case, and Jimmy Kanaka.
It would seem the facts are enough.
Wait. My father, one day, brought me down into this very room. And in the presence of the others, told me the dream. I was to be heir to the secret. On the 2nd day on the island, they discovered in a sheltered inlet a rotten, waterlogged Malay prow. A proper war prow as the pirates used to use. And inside the prow, in 2 chests, were, guess what, Miss Willow?
Treasure, of course.
The root of belief is in you, too. Yes, treasure to be sure. Why else? Why limit the stuff of dreams?
And
then they began to go mad. First from hunger, then thirst. Then they began to forget. But my father, realizing what was happening to them, decided why they still knew what they were doing should, guess again, Twillo.
bury the treasure.
Simple, isn't it? Yes. Bury the treasure. They made a treasure map. The same old dream as my father had terror. But now we're coming back to the dream myth. The map. This is the dream. Behold.
The treasure, I suppose, is where...
Where the cross is made.
And here are the signatures I see. And below, isn't that yours?
As heir to the secret, yes. We all signed here the morning we marry out. The schooner my father had mortgaged the house out to set sail to bring back the treasure.
The ship he's still looking for. That was lost 3 years ago?
Marry out, yes. Those 3 men sailed away on her to bring back the treasure. My father did not go with them. My mother was very ill at the time. I dared not go either.
Then you wanted to go. You believed in the treasure then?
Of course. I believed until my mother's death. But then he began to go mad. He tired of man. He built his cabin to wait in. But then he started to suspect my growing doubt as time went on. So as final proof, he gave me a sample of the richest of all the treasures. Behold.
Real jewels.
You want to believe too? No. Paste and brass to merely ornaments.
You had it sober.
Like a fool. Yes. Now you see why in the end I had to ask you to come here to check up on my father. Believing in a lost ship. The house is mortgaged. It is to be foreclosed soon. My sister and I have to move. We can't take him with us. She's to be married. Perhaps away from the sight of the sea, he may...
Let's hope for the best. And I fully appreciate your position. And thank you for the interesting story. I'll know how to humor him when he raves about treasure.
He's quiet always. Too quiet. He's always up there watching.
Well, I must go. You think it best to take him tonight?
Yes, the neighbor's there, far away, but for my sister's sake, you understand.
I see. It must be hard on her, this sort of thing. Well, I'll return presently.
Don't fail us, nurse. And come right up, he'll be here. Who's there?
Only I. What are you afraid of?
Nothing. I didn't know. I thought you were in your room.
I was reading, and then I heard someone come down the stairs and go out. Who was it? It wasn't Father.
No, he's up there watching as he always is.
Well, then who was it?
A woman.
What woman? Who is she, Nash? You're holding something back.
A
Tell
nurse.
Me. You brought her up here so that I wouldn't know.
No, I brought her up here to check on Father.
Is she one of them? From the asylum? Oh, Nash, you have...
No, be still.
That would be the last horror.
Why? You always say that. How could things be worse as they already are? I believe it'd be better for him away where he couldn't see the sea. So for his bad idea of waiting for a lost ship and a treasure that never was. I believe this.
You don't, Nash. You know he died. He had the sea to live with.
You know old Smith would foreclose the mortgage. Is that nothing? We cannot pay. He came yesterday and spoke with me. He knows the place is his to all purposes. He talked as if we were merely his tenants. Curse him. And he swore he'd foreclose immediately unless...
What?
Unless we have Father taken away.
But why? Why? What is Father to him?
Christ to the house. Our home, which is his, Smith. The neighbors are afraid. They pass by on the roads at night, coming back to their farms from the city.